Let's talk about legacy. And I'm not talking about the kind you leave to your kids. I'm talking about the kind a whole civilization leaves behind. The kind of legacy that answers the question, if we disappeared tomorrow, would anything at all, be left to speak for us billions of years from now? Well, today, we're going to look at a technology that's trying to do exactly that.
I mean, really think about that for a second. All of our art, our science, our entire history, where does it actually live? It all feels so permanent, but it's not. And that's exactly why we need to talk about a completely new kind of memory.
All right, let's get into it. Before we can really appreciate the solution, we have to understand the problem. And the problem, you see, is that our supposedly permanent digital world is actually, well, incredibly fragile.
Okay, so look at this contrast. It's kind of wild. Our entire collective memory, pretty much everything we know and have ever created, lives in these giant data centers. They need constant power, constant cooling, constant maintenance. If you just unplug humanity for a century, maybe even less, most of it just poof, it's gone. Hard drives fade, servers corrode. It's like a library that's on life support. Meanwhile, the Earth's geological record, it can endure volcanoes and ice ages without even breaking a sweat.
So what's the alternative then? How do you build a library that can actually outlast a volcano? Well, the answer, it turns out, is to forge our memory directly into one of the most stable materials we know, glass.
This is it, 5D optical memory. It was pioneered by researchers at the University of Southampton, and no, this isn't science fiction, it's real-deal photonics. They use these incredibly fast, high-energy laser pulses to physically change the structure of fused quartz glass, but on a nanoscale. This creates a permanent record that doesn't need electricity or magnetism or anything else to hold its shape. It's just there.
So why do they call it 5D? Well, the first three dimensions are pretty straightforward, right? It's just the position of the data point in 3D space, X, Y, and Z. Think of it like a location on a map, but inside the glass. But the last two, that's where the magic really happens. The laser can also control the orientation of the tiny nanostructure and its optical strength, which is just a fancy way of saying how it twists and slows down light passing through it. These two extra dimensions act like powerful new data channels, which lets them pack an unbelievable amount of information into a tiny space.
And when I say unbelievable, I mean it. We are talking about 360 terabytes of data on a single disk the size of a coin. To put that in perspective, that's like a whole library with millions of books, or a lifetime of music, or a massive archive of scientific data all held right there in the palm of your hand.
But here is the most mind-bending number of all. The data is projected to last for 13.8 billion years. No, that is not a typo. That is roughly the entire age of the known universe. This thing can withstand temperatures up to 190 degrees Celsius. It doesn't care about water or radiation or just the simple passage of time. This isn't storage for your great-grandchildren. This is storage for whatever comes next.
So with that kind of permanence, this technology becomes so much more than just storage. It becomes a kind of planetary contingency plan, a data arc designed to carry the very seed of our civilization across the abyss of deep time.
And you know, this isn't just theoretical. They've already started archiving humanity's greatest hits. We're talking about foundational documents of our society, key scientific tests, and even the entire human genome, the literal blueprint of our species, all encoded into these tiny glass crystals.
This quote really just gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? By storing not just our culture, but the genetic codes for humans and other endangered species, we're creating this information arc. It's a library that holds more than just stories. It holds the instructions for life itself, a set of remanufacturable instructions for some distant future.
But hey, why stop at just one arc here on Earth? I mean, if you're really planning for planetary scale disasters, you're going to need some off-site backups, right? And that is where this vision gets even bigger.
So meet the Arch Mission Foundation. This is a real organization, and their goal is every bit as ambitious as it sounds, to create redundant, off-world backups of human knowledge to make sure our civilization's legacy can survive any single catastrophe. And this is already happening. Back in 2018, they launched the first solar library, a quartz crystal archive, into a permanent orbit around the Sun. And yes, it was on the same rocket that sent that Tesla Roadster into space. They've got more archives planned for the Moon, and the goal is simple: cosmic-scale disaster recovery. And this quote just brilliantly captures their inspiration. The Arch mission is consciously, deliberately trying to build the Encyclopedia Galactica.
the fictional repository of all human knowledge from Isaac Asimov's Foundation series. What used to be pure science fiction is now an honest-to-goodness engineering project.
Now, to be fair, these 5D crystals aren't the only futuristic storage tech being developed. To really get why they're so special, we need to see how they stack up against the other big players in the game.
So, let's break this down. You've got quantum memory, which is incredibly fast and secure, perfect for future computers, but it's also extremely fragile. Then there's DNA storage, which has unbelievable density. A single spoonful could hold millions of gigabytes, but it degrades easily and it's slow to use. And then you have the 5D crystal. Its key strength is simple: endurance. It's not the fastest to write to, but it's the one you choose when your primary mission is survival. It is the absolute god-tier vault.
So when you put all of this together, you start to realize what this technology truly represents. This is not just about saving files. It's about sending a message across eons of time.
Because really, this is about something so much more profound than just storage. It's a backup of humanity itself. It's a contingency plan that says, hey, even if the absolute worst happens, the knowledge of who we were and what we learned won't be lost forever.
Ultimately, it's a fundamental act of resistance against entropy, against oblivion. It's a statement that consciousness and creativity and discovery are just too valuable to simply fade away into nothing.
At the end of the day, this is the real message encoded in the glass. It's a whisper sent across time, a final testament for any future intelligence to find, letting them know that on this small corner of the universe, for one brief shining moment, we existed.
And that really leaves us with one final question for you. If this archive is meant to speak for all of us, what piece of music, what scientific formula, what poem, or what personal memory would you choose to add? What deserves to last forever?